How to become faster in running? Well, about 2 years ago I asked myself the same question and found a secret formula that helped me to become faster in running. Comment your 5K PR, share this video with a friend, and without further ado, let the treasure hunt begin. So if you're someone like me who loves running but doesn't seem to get any faster or just wants to improve the running time, then this video is tailor-made for you. About 2 years ago I was in the same situation as you. Going for runs here and there but never saw any major improvements, nor did those runs actually feel great. In fact, I even felt worse after each and every run I did, resulting in that I took long breaks before going for a run again. And as you can probably guess, that is not the fastest way to improve in running. But what I can tell you now, there are also no shortcuts, magic pills or mystical drinks that make you become faster overnight. What I can tell you, I found a workout strategy that not only helped me to become faster, but also gave me the fun back for running. Since I discovered this secret formula for becoming faster at running, I became as fast as Usain Bolt and Kipchoge combined. Nah, I'm just kidding, but I saw major improvements in my 5K time. I feel better while running, and running actually makes more fun now.
Here we go again.
Okay, so in order to become faster, I had to implement 3 running secrets and drastically change my training approach. Here are the 3 steps I took. Step 1, understanding the fundamentals. Step 2, implementing the knowledge. And step 3, consistency. And we start of course with step number 1, understanding the fundamentals.
Wow!
Take a guess. If you're thinking about becoming faster at running, how fast would you run in your training? As fast as possible, right? Wrong. 0 out of 10, absolute wouldn't recommend. And yes, it did also blow away my mind as I first heard about it. But let me explain you why. For that, we have to look at this graph. I know it's like in school, but we have to get through this.
What?
X scale is time and Y scale is lactic acid. What happens is over time when you're running, slowly but surely lactic acid builds up to a point where it increases exponentially. This is like the red zone you feel while running, where you can't get any further, have to slow down, or even worse, have to stop running. I think that also happened to me in my first ever half marathon. But stop. Not too fast. Before we're going on, what is this thing called lactic acid? Lactic acid itself doesn't cause the pain. No, seriously, to find it out we have to make a deep dive into biology. When we are running, our body burns carbohydrates and produces lactic acid. But we are still in an aerobic state where our body uses oxygen as its main source of energy. The faster we run, the more carbohydrates get burned and the more lactic acid gets produced. To a point where our body cannot only use oxygen to produce this much energy, this is the point where our body switches to an anaerobic system, which the name itself says it, that it doesn't require oxygen to do it and produces lactic acid. Now this sounds great, right? But here's where it turns around. Lactic acid gets split into lactate, which is a source of energy, and hydrogen ions. Now, those hydrogen ions lower the pH value of our muscle/body. Our body becomes more and more acidic, resulting in a decrease of muscle efficiency, muscle fatigue, or better known as that stinging, burning feeling in the legs. Alright, enough biology for today. Now we know what lactic acid is and how the graph is obtained. The first step is done, understanding the fundamentals. Now step 2 is to use this graph and implement workouts according to that. So on this graph, here's the point where lactic acid increases exponentially. In order to become faster, we need to do workouts that sit here, here and there. Why? Well, we want to train below and above our lactic threshold. Below because we want to build that fundamental endurance, and above because it brings a lot of benefits to gain speed. And we break down each workout in depth in a moment. Now, how can you find out your lactic threshold and training zones? Well, there are a lot of options and ways out there. Some are more accurate than others, some are more expensive than others. So maybe just go on the internet and find out which method works for you the best. Let's break down the 3 workouts that I generally do and that helped me to run a 45-second PR in my 5K. First, we have the easy run. The easy run, as it says, should feel easy. When you are doing these runs, keep this quote in mind. Run slow in order to become faster. And it truly does magic. At first my easy runs felt really slow as I wasn't used to running slow in my training, because I always tried to chase and beat my PR that I set last training, which was a huge mistake. So I flipped my training approach upside down. Easy runs are longer than your goal distance and are at a slow conversational pace. What is a slow conversational pace? A pace where you comfortably could talk to another person and comfortably get through the run without feeling that tired after. These runs help to build your overall endurance like a brick wall. You can do all these fancy workouts. If you haven't done your fundamental training, it most likely won't bring you anything. In fact, there's a rule that states that 80% of your mileage should be at an easy effort. Easy runs have a lot of benefits, 3 of them being: 1, they are enjoyable as you could talk to another person, 2, you don't feel that exhausted after it, and 3, those runs actually feel great makes you want to go for another run after completing it, which gives you motivation to stick to your plan. Second workout, tempo runs. Tempo runs sit right under your lactate threshold, and of course there are some variations to it. They feel some sort of easy, but not too easy.
What?
In my case, tempo runs were longer than the goal distance to get used to the faster pace over a longer distance. Same as easy runs, tempo runs also have a lot of benefits. 1. They help to increase the blood flow. 2. But also the amount of blood plasma, which helps to carry oxygen. And 3. It also helps with mental performance, as you have to keep your speed at a specific pace, which can get pretty challenging over time. And last workout, number 3, we have intervals. Intervals are above your lactate threshold and are really fast. These are the fastest run you do in the week. Intervals are great for gaining speed, as they are shorter than your goal distance but extremely hard. For example, in my 5K training, I did 12 times 400 or 6 times 800 meter repeats under my goal pace. Once I understood all these workouts, my head was dizzy. No, not only that, but I realized what was my mistake in the past. You know, I was always running as fast as possible, trying to beat my PR I set last workout, which in the long term led to demotivation or even weeks without running. And I know there are a lot of more different workout types you can do, fart legs, progressive long runs, just to name a few, but especially for beginner runners like I was, it can get confusing extremely easily, and therefore I reduce it to the absolute basic. I like to start with the basics and later implement more and more things. With that new knowledge, it was then time to create a training program with slowly increasing mileage and to stick to it. You know, having a structure, a plan you can follow is extremely useful, as you know which workout you have to do at that specific day. You can also keep track of your progress, how you're improving, and have constant motivation if a run, for example, didn't went as planned. Generally speaking, we want to have one off day of running when we did a hard/fast workout. That means if we do a hard workout on Monday, we will do our interval session earliest on Wednesday. Or we could also put an easy run on Tuesday to fill in the gap, making the training plan kinda look like this. Low intensity, high intensity, low intensity, high intensity, and so on and so on. Understood the fundamentals, implemented the knowledge, and made a plan. Then there was one last step to take, which leads me to step number 3, consistency. As said before, in running there are really no shortcuts. Either you put in the mileage and run, or you won't improve. Consistency is key.
Major key.
No, really it is. And I can't stress enough the factor that I saw my greatest improvements when I was consistent with it. It won't help you to just run once in a month and expect a new PR next time. Unfortunately, that's not how the running game works. In order to become faster, you also have to run more. I wouldn't recommend to run 100 km per week from tomorrow. That would rather damage you than benefit you. But begin slowly, add up mileage consistently, but not too fast. And most importantly, have fun. Of course, there are a lot of more/different training approaches and factors that influence if you can get faster at running, like running form, nutrition, recovery, but so much more. But I would say that this training approach was and is the biggest factor that helped me to become faster in running. Well, the secret formula is mine. Let's run.
Stay focused.